once I started to become more disciplined, it's like they say, discipline is freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's a good segue into the topic we're getting into, because the whole quitting thing. And I have one titled here, The Quitter's Loop, How You're Training Yourself to Be Weak. So I'll read this and then we'll jump in, because that's perfect. I was thinking about this over the weekend, how I used to have this similar problem. It's just how many guys will start off with a goal, and then somewhere along the way, they give up on themselves. They give up. It's basically like a promise to yourself that you give up. So probably the worst thing you could possibly do is giving up on yourself. And we all kind of have these moments where we tend to do this for whatever, usually stemming from childhood or pressure from life or some negative thoughts in your head. You don't think you're good enough. You don't deserve this, whatever it is. But it starts off like this. Look in the fucking mirror. Take a good, hard look at yourself. You know what you're going to see? A man who's been lying to himself. A man who starts shit but never follows through. A man who's become comfortable with being fucking comfortable. How many times have you told yourself, this is it? This is the time you're going to transform your body, start the business, learn that skill, become that guy you see in your head. And how many times have you quit on yourself? Let's be real for a second. You're not quitting because it's hard. You're quitting because you become addicted to being soft. Every time you quit, every time you break a promise to yourself, you're not just failing at that goal, you're actively training yourself to be a quitter. You're programming your brain to fold at the first sign of resistance. And the worst part, you're getting better at quitting every single day. I see this shit all the time with the younger guys. You get hyped up watching some transformation video on TikTok or YouTube. Holy shit, this guy went from looking like me to being jacked in 6 months. You save the video, follow the guy, start planning your own transformation. Maybe you even buy some pre-workout. Get that fancy gym membership. Tell your boys you're about to get shredded. Day 1, you're feeling like a beast. Day 2, still good. By day 5, your body's sore as fuck. You didn't sleep well, and the voice in your head starts whispering, maybe we can skip just one day. We'll go twice as hard tomorrow. And just like that, you're back in the loop. The same fucking loop that's been keeping you mediocre your entire life. But here's what you're not understanding. That discomfort you're running from, that's the fucking point. That's where the transformation happens. You think successful people don't feel the same resistance? That same urge to quit? The difference is they develop something you haven't. They've created an alter ego, a psychological warrior who doesn't take orders from that weak inner voice. Think about it like this. Imagine yourself in a movie. You're the main character, and the audience is watching you make the same weak decisions over and over again. They're watching you fold every time shit gets uncomfortable. They're watching you pick up your phone and scroll through Instagram instead of doing the work. They're watching you make the same excuses you've been making for years. How fucking pathetic does that look from the outside? You need to create the John Wick version of yourself in your head, that unstoppable force that doesn't know how to quit. When you're about to skip that workout, when you're about to break that diet, when you're about to put off working on your business for another day, you need to step into that alter ego. Become that fucking machine that doesn't negotiate with weakness. But here's the real problem. Your goals aren't real to you. They're just some vague ideas floating around in your head. I want to get in shape. What the fuck does that even mean? You need to crystallize that shit in your head until it becomes an obsession. Don't tell me you want to get in shape. Tell me exactly what you want to look like, feel like, be capable of. Paint that picture so vividly in your mind that you can feel it in your fucking bones. I want you to try something right now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from now if you keep quitting. Keep breaking promises to yourself. Keep choosing comfort over growth. See yourself looking in that same mirror with that same disappointed look, making those same fucking excuses. Feel the weight of another year wasted. Feel the shame of knowing you're still the same person you were, just older and more pathetic. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine if you became obsessed with your vision. Imagine if you eliminated plan B and put your back up against the wall. No safety net, no excuses, just pure focused determination to become the man you see in your head. You think that version of you gives a fuck about being tired, about being sore, about what your boys think? That version of you is too busy building an empire to worry about the temporary discomfort. The problem with you young guys is you've been conditioned to expect results without resistance. You scroll through highlight reels all day, watching other people's end results without seeing the fucking war they went through to get there. You think motivation comes from watching videos and reading quotes? That shit is temporary. Real motivation comes from providing to yourself that you can be trusted, proving to yourself that you could be trusted. That when you say you're going to do something, it's as good as done. Every time you quit, you're not just failing at that specific goal. You're reinforcing a belief system that you're not capable of real change. You're telling yourself that you're the kind of person who gives up when things get hard. And guess what? Your brain believes whatever the fuck you tell it. You've been programming yourself for failure, one quit at a time. Here's your wake-up call. You need to become obsessed with proving yourself wrong. Every time that voice in your head says you can't do something, that's exactly what you need to do. Every time you feel like quitting, that's exactly when you need to push harder. You need to reprogram your brain to associate discomfort with growth, to see resistance as a signal to push forward rather than back down. You want to know the secret of breaking the cycle? Start small, but be fucking consistent. Don't tell me you're going to transform your entire life overnight. Tell me you're going to wake up at the same time every day for the next week. Tell me you're going to do 50 push-ups every morning, no matter what. Tell me you're going to work on your business for 1 hour every day without excuses. Pick something small enough that you can't rationalize quitting, but significant enough that it builds momentum. The first 2 weeks are going to suck. Your body's going to fight you. Your mind's going to fight you. The little bitch voice in your head is going to scream at you to go back to your comfort zone. This is where you need to become a fucking warrior. This is where your alter ego needs to take over. Every time you feel like quitting, step outside yourself and watch what you're about to do. Are you about to be the same weak person who always gives up? Or are you going to be the man who finally decides enough is enough? Here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, every time you feel like quitting something, anything, you do the exact opposite. Feel like skipping the gym, you go and do the hardest workout of your life. Feel like procrastinating on your work, you sit down and don't move until it's done. Feel like breaking your diet, make the fucking cleanest meal you've ever made. The man you become is a direct result of the battles you either win or quit. Every time you're faced with the choice of between comfort and growth, you're literally choosing who you become. You're either training yourself to be strong or you're training yourself to be weak. There's no middle ground. It's time to decide, are you going to keep being the man who quits on himself, or are you ready to become the warrior you see in your head? The choice is yours. But remember, time is passing. Either way, you can either use it to build something extraordinary, or you can waste it through the same excuses you've been making your entire life. What's it going to be? And I'll open it up for everyone here. I think a lot of guys don't see that portion where it's super important to step outside your body in a sense and imagine that you're looking at yourself in the third person and seeing how you're behaving. Even if you speak out loud, just to hear yourself, what your mind is saying unfiltered, and how disgusted you would be with yourself just seeing that. A lot of people don't get into that different perspective to really, really accurately like judge yourself for what you're doing. Because most guys, if you were to have a camera on them every day, they would behave completely differently because immediately you know. One is probably from shame. The other one is like, oh, I can't have people seeing me not doing anything. And, it's like all those things that go into your head. If we were to put a camera on anybody's life here and the day-to-day decisions that you make, nobody is happy with nobody because you'd finally hold yourself accountable fully and start to live out your day fully. So if you can tap into that mentality when no one's looking, because that's when it really counts, everybody's on their best behavior when you're being watched by somebody else. But the shit that makes a real difference in life is when no one's looking, what do you do? That's what separates the winners and losers in life, is that those guys, they keep going when nobody's watching. You just said, yeah, I'll do this for now, a couple of weeks, and then, the grind sets in. Nobody's congratulating you out the door anymore. Nobody's giving you compliments anymore. You're getting hungrier. You're getting home late. You didn't sleep well. Job kept you up. Some other bullshit. You didn't get to meal prep here and there. Something's happening. You're falling behind, and you allow yourself to break. I'll just go eat out. We'll just skip today and go twice star tomorrow, like I said in my post, right? And that's how it begins. That's the feedback loop starting again. You're getting back to being comfortable. You're getting back to becoming a failure. And then you'll convince yourself, right? You're training yourself to fail over and over again because this accountability is lacking. And now every time you try to have an idea or start something new, you're already wired to give it up. You're doing this without even knowing. You're wiring yourself to quit. When you quit once, you're going to keep quitting. That's why they say start with little small wins, because it's momentum and it goes in the opposite direction too. If you build momentum of wins, small wins turn into bigger wins, turn into massive wins, and you start to keep winning because that's the momentum carrying you forward. You can go backward just the same with momentum. You quit once, you start to quit more and more, and the quitting becomes huge setbacks in your life. But people don't understand this shit. You have to, man. Like it says, crystallize the shit in your mind until it becomes an obsession. And like in part of the post, it says like most people's goals aren't them. It's because it's true. People set goals that aren't lofty enough, doesn't excite them enough, aren't important to them enough. Like, for example, in the post, I said like wake up early for 7 days. Like for some guys here, that may be enough. For other guys, that's bullshit. That's like, bro, I already get up early. That, just becoming more consistent and going to the gym 7 days after waking up. Okay, fine. But that doesn't jolt you. That's like not exciting. Like do something that is worthy of you, exciting of you, that can get you out of bed. something small maybe that you like doing. For example, if you want to be a nut job and take a cold shower, you never taken cold showers before and they seem cool as fuck and all the cool dudes are doing it and like you could take a fucking cold shower. Take 7 days worth of cold showers. And that's how you start. You build mental resilience and then you move on to something else. Okay, cool. I did 7 days straight. What else could I do for 7 days straight? Okay, I'm going to get up early then, or I'm going to make sure I don't scroll on my phone for 1 hour prior to going to bed. I'm going to take control of my attention. Okay, cool. So now you're taking cold showers and now you're taking control of your attention before bed. Before you know it, man, by the end of the year, you've built a solid list of like habits that make you a completely different person. The transformation's already happening. It starts with something that small. But most guys, when they try to plan, they try to tell you like, this is my goal of transforming. And then like, they're going to tell you their dream selves, which is fine. If you can try to crystallize what that day would look like, use it for motivation. But most guys demoralize themselves when they have grandiose plans without even taking the first step. It's like you've made the problem so large that you don't even attempt to solve it. Start it in bite-sized pieces. Break that shit down and you will succeed, dude. A wall is built one brick at a time. It doesn't appear out of nowhere.